Alright guys, Supreme Comic here, and today we'll be taking a look at the Figurized Standard Suletta Mercury. So I just finished this kit not too long ago. I want to say it roughly took about 3 hours to complete it, from recording to snapping the pieces from the runners into putting it out together. 3 hours. So it didn't really take that long. I think honestly with the experience that I have building Miorine definitely helped this one. The build quality is fairly similar, just overall really straightforward. So let me kind of show you guys how the face looks like, because that is probably the most important thing. The accuracy to these two, like her and Suletta and Miorine, are definitely top notch, so that's why I was like, gotta get these two. So overall pretty good. Once again, I have not applied any decal or stickers whatsoever, so this is what you get literally straight out of the box. So since Suletta doesn't really have too many accessories, I'm just gonna quickly show you guys them first, and then we will move over to the articulation. So horror, this is my very first time building a horror, and I was like, this kit definitely jumps up to an 11 out of 10 just by having a horror, so pretty good. And then we have the standard two face, obviously, to pick from, so not bad. I decided to use the one that is just looking straight at you. I didn't want to put a one that looks one on the right or on the left. And then some hands, right? We have the open palm one, right? These two right here. So I'm just gonna set them like back right here. We have these two extra ones that you can hold the horrors, right, with either hand, so that's pretty good. And then last but not least, we have these two. I guess they're more for like holding anything on the hand, but we don't have any, so these are pretty much us just off to the side, can't really use them. Stickers, we have the standard one. This one is more for things that is going on the actual school uniform, more on like the collar, because obviously Suletta is the holder, so her uniform is definitely a little bit more just better looks well done, looks more decorated, right? So we have that. In terms of the decal, we have this one. This one is actually more like a gold plated, so I will be using this one. And in terms of the application, hopefully it's not that difficult. I don't know, right? And in terms of the waterslide decals for the eyes, we have the following: one looking straight at you, one to the right, and then one to the left for both A for the B and C. So we have that. Yeah, so now we can move over to the articulation after going over to all the other accessories. So it's not a whole lot, which I think the horror definitely makes it for it. But all right, articulation is fairly similar, I will have to say, for sure. So head, you can definitely spin 360 degrees, no problem. Back and forth, pretty good. Side to side, you do have a lot, right? Again, looks weird. And in terms of her ponytail, it is going to be on like a ball joint socket, so you can rotate it however you want depending on the pose that you want to do. Now to the torso does have some pretty good ab crunch, not really ab crunch, right? So not too terrible. Coming down to the arms themselves, so they can rotate 360 degrees, no problem, given that you do pop out just a little bit, so it is going to be on the ball joint socket just like that. So you can rotate, and I believe you can also rotate from like right here as well. So that was something that I was not familiar with when I first took a look at Miorine, so my bad on that, but you can definitely rotate it like this if you want. So just a little bit more articulation there. Bend is pretty much going to be the same, just a little bit over 90 degrees, with the sleeves just kind of in the way. This part, for whatever reason, feels really loose, so I don't know if that is experiencing on you guys' end, but just on me. In terms of the wrists, or the hands on the wrist, so you can rotate, obviously no problem. With the other two that you can swap into, and you do have a little bit of a movement right here as well. Alright, so waist section, you actually do have a little bit, I would say. You do have solemnly just a little bit of a movement as well. And so depending, once again, your pose, you can kind of move that as well. In terms of the leg articulation, so this one is actually on a ball joint, so it's just gonna pops right in like that. So you're not really gonna get a lot of articulation, unfortunately. You can still almost do a split, almost, right? In terms of the actual spin, like bend right here, is you don't have that. It's gonna be right here. Oh, okay, that looks weird now. Okay, you can do this, right? A bend right here, just 90 degrees. And then as far as coming down to the feet, you can rotate from this point, right? I don't know why you do that, but there's an option. In terms of the actual or boots, you can do this, right? Fairly good rotation. This one, this really solid. It's gonna be two-piece sandwiched together, and I don't have any problem with it being loose whatsoever, so pretty good. And you also do have one point movement where you can tilt it, so depending on the pose, once again, you can just kind of make it how you need. So pretty good. So overall, I am definitely really satisfied with the overall articulation. Plus or minus maybe coming down to the leg section, just because of how I'll kind of say limited it is, but overall I think it's definitely fairly good. So what we will do right now, I guess we can hop over to swapping the face, because that is the next thing to do after articulation, because there really isn't much to kind of show. All right, let's do this. So I'm just gonna quickly grab the face. It doesn't really matter, I guess. So it's pretty much gonna be the same application. You remove her hair, right? It's kind of, it's all spiky throughout, so you do want to be careful in terms of where you want to grab her hair, because you don't want to accidentally poke yourself, right? So just pop that off. And let's actually try this one, the one with the, both of them are actually the smiley face, right? With the exception, I guess this one is more like, what do you guys make of this one? I don't know, but I guess all of them are happy face. We just kind of keep it as that. We can pop the hair back a swallow. So there you go. This one looks really good. Even though it's we have to apply a decal on it, but it still look really good as far as the application. The only sticker that I have used so far is definitely just this right here. So the one in her tongue. So that's the only one I use. Because in terms of what the color was, it's gonna be the same as the hair color, which I mean, like, I don't think tongues are supposed to be that color, so I was like, let me just use it for the sake of things. But you guys can see that the decal is somewhat peeling, just because it is not on a flat surface, so that is gonna be a problem, I guess, if you have those decal. Because I know there's some special, I don't think it's glue that you apply on for decals, but it helps. So I don't have that, but if you guys do, I think it will definitely makes it better, just because it is not on a flat surface, so it is kind of rough to apply these, so that is a problem. So I guess the last thing we can do, we can try out the horror. I have not tried out that yet, so let's do that. So we're just gonna pop this. Oops, I didn't mean to do that, but let's pop this off. And then we can grab, I think will be this one. So we're gonna pop this on, just like so. I think the connection is a little bit tight. And then we can grab the horror. So the horror does have a little bit of a peg right here. So we can do this. Look at you, and these flaps actually opens like that. So that is cool. And that is cool. So, and then after that, we can just pop it back on like that, and then we can have her just kind of looking left and right, being unhappy. So yeah, overall, I would definitely say I'm really satisfied with the overall kit. You guys can definitely let me know how you guys feel about that. I guess the last thing, let me see. Let me have her stand up straight. Got one last trick for you guys. Size comparison. So how tall is she? So I do have Miorine right here. Let's grab her. So she is actually just a little bit shorter, because I do have her kind of standing a little bit, wider, but she is actually, so Suletta is actually just a teeny tiny bit taller than Miorine, so that's interesting, right? And we have ourselves the entry grade New Gundam, so just barely taller. just barely. That's crazy. To think that these standardized figures are as tall as the high grade, that's bizarre. And last but not least, we have the Granddaddy RA72 for a quick comparison, and short. Really short. But I think that's it. Other than that, I think that's pretty much what I have for you guys. I guess I do have a pros and cons towards the end, where I'll show you guys a painted version of Suletta. But let's move on to that. So as for my pros and cons for this Suletta, I feel like overall I would definitely give it a very positive rating, just because in terms of the overall model itself, just the quality of it is definitely really great. The attention to detail is definitely phenomenal, right? The face sculpture from the school uniform and etc. I think everything is definitely well represented. As far as my cons, it's definitely going to be coming from the stickers and then the decals. The decals mainly is just for the face, the additional two faces. I do find it easily coming off, but I think that is definitely something you can fix if you have those. I think people use some sort of like adhesive to apply onto those, the decal, to make it stay longer. I don't know what that specific glue or adhesive that could be, but I have seen it, right? So that could be done to make it better. The other one is the sticker sheets. I think these one are the gold sticker sheet that goes on her school uniform, the one that goes around her collar. Those golden stickers, like they are nice. They look really shiny first and foremost, but man, trying to get them on there and looks crispy is kind of hard, because they do have that the border around the metal sheet could be a little bit troublesome and whatnot. But I think that's pretty much it. That's overall, I would say my complaint or my cons. Not overall, it's not terrible, right? But other than that, that's pretty much it for me, and I'll be catching you guys off on the next one.